Morning, everyone. Again, we find ourselves in the hospital in the middle of the night. Another example of our brave officers out there fighting crime, keeping New Yorkers safe. It's by the grace of God that we are not about to start planning for a second funeral in 1 month. The following information is extremely preliminary, as this incident is about 3 hours old. What we have tonight is 2 police officers and a sergeant assigned to the 81st Precinct on patrol in an unmarked car, together in uniform. At approximately 11:11 p.m., near the corner of Madison and Broadway in the 83rd Precinct, which is approximately 4 to 5 blocks away, there is a report of shots fired. A review of video at that incident scene shows a white SUV occupied by 3 males. You have a male run up to that white SUV and begin to fire shots into it. We have recovered 5 shell casings at that scene. The white SUV crashes a short time later, and the result of that initial shooting is one of the occupants is deceased, one of the occupants is suffering from a non-fatal gunshot injury, and one of the occupants is uninjured. It's interesting to note that all 3 are known to the police in that car. All 3 have an extensive arrest history, are gang members with open gun cases. Approximately 4 minutes later and 5 blocks away, our unmarked auto with the sergeant and 2 police officers encounters a male walking briskly on the side of Saratoga Park, blading his body. The officers stop their unmarked auto, get out to investigate, and immediately the male pulls a firearm, turns on the officers, and begins to shoot. The sergeant in the auto does not fire his weapon. And again, this is all preliminary. One of the officers fires 12 rounds. One of the officers fires 9 rounds. The officer that fires 9 rounds, and we are not identifying that this time as we complete notifications, is struck, we believe, 3 times. Once in the vest, which thank God stops the round. Chief Harrison will show you where it's struck. A second round struck the officer in his right leg. A third round struck the officer in the buttocks. The officer, thank God, is here, he is well, and he is expected to make a full recovery. The perpetrator in this case was struck 1 time, also in the leg. He was apprehended at the scene. He is a 26-year-old male. He is a known gang member to the NYPD, and at the scene was recovered a firearm. Chief Essick will show you the picture of the firearm that he held. Again, it's extremely preliminary at this point in time. Due to the proximity of these 2 scenes and the short distance away, it is an extremely active investigation with multiple assets on the scene to narrow down and draw conclusions where we can if these 2 incidents are related. I'm going to now turn it to the mayor.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. First of all, to say thank God our officer will make a full recovery, and I want to thank everyone at Kings County Hospital who has been taking care of him in a very, very devoted way. Look, this is an example of extraordinary bravery. Here are officers in a situation where they see someone acting suspiciously, and they go and do what we depend on them to do every single day and protect their fellow New Yorkers. And they do it with courage and bravery and put themselves in harm's way. But they did exactly the right thing because, in fact, this individual had done, from everything we are seeing at this moment, had done harm and would have done more harm, and then turned on our officers. This is the kind of thing that we see that gives us clear example of how much bravery, how much courage, how much devotion it takes to be out there in the middle of the night on the street protecting everybody else. I want to honor these officers for the way that they did their work tonight. It's also important to note that the strategies of the NYPD had these officers in their location because of previous activity in that area. And in fact, that was exactly where the officers needed to be to stop further violence. But it's quite clear that people who have this level of devotion to their fellow New Yorkers are very special people, and thank God they will all be okay. And thank God the individual who turned on our officers is clearly going to be brought to justice. Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, we're at Kings County Hospital once again today, but because of the actions of these police officers, what it does is it proves that nonsense narrative that the police are the problem. It puts that to bed. We are the solution. What would have happened? Would there be another crime scene if these police officers didn't come upon and put themselves at risk and get shot? It's not a coincidence that shootings are up in the numbers and the percentages that they are directly after they change the rules and laws that allow us to do the job. It has to stop now. We've said it before. I've said it before. Now's the time. We have to stop coming to this hospital and thanking God that we're alive. Let's do it right. Let's admit that there was a mistake made. Let's change the laws that allow us to do our job. And then we can thank God that we did it right.
We open it up to questions. Chief Harrison here and Chief Essex, I'm sure they can answer any questions. The mayor mentioned the officers being in the right place at the right time. There had been a shooting in that park, and that's what we are referring to. Saratoga Park yesterday. Multiple teams put out by the CO, Deputy Inspector Glenn, clearly putting his men and women in the right place to combat the violence that was in the 81st precinct. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Commissioner, is it clear if this suspect was responsible for shooting in the car a few blocks away?
It is certainly something that we are looking very close. As again, this is 3 hours old. There is a multitude of things that we have to take a look at. Evidence recovered, ballistics, lab work to do, but that is certainly a possibility that we're looking at. Rocco?
Commissioner, he's bleeding, but do the police by then also have a description of the suspect, or are they aware of the shots 4 blocks away?
That's preliminarily, I don't have that information. It may be that they did not. I do not know. What we do know is it's 4 to 5 blocks away, almost immediately after. We believe that he's heading in that direction, and we're firming that up as we speak. And when you add up all of that, we have 9mm shell casings recovered at the initial shooting with the white truck. We have 9mm shell casings that appear to match at this scene, but a visual match is not a match. We got to put it under a microscope.
You mentioned the 3 who were fired at in the white vehicle.
Yes, sir.
They had open guns. What do you know about those gun cases?
I'll turn it to Chief Essex.
These 3 are known to us as gang members from the area. They've been arrested in the recent past. They have future court dates that are open and they have to answer to. Their court dates are in the future after the summer. So we're looking for them to answer these. But this happens all too often. We'll see gang members involved in shootings who have open gun cases. The courts are closed. The courts have to be open.
Are they possession charges or actually firearms?
Possession of firearms.
Anyone else? Yes,
Chief
sir.
Harrison, could we see the vest again when we're in Neighbor Road?
Is that the front of the back?
Commissioner.
So the bullet that penetrated that vest has been taken out. It will now be compared conclusively to determine that it came from the perpetrator's gun.
Commissioner, any indication that this is part of a larger gang dispute in the area?
Chief Essex.
Chief?
We're investigating in the last few days multiple shootings in the area. When we see this, it's always gang members involved. We know the gangs who are involved. Everything's still preliminary in terms of this, but constantly we see the back and forth and the back and forth, and that's why these officers are deployed in that area by the COs to prevent this type of gang violence. But since they're all gang members, we know which gang they are in, we know who they dispute with. So, these investigations are still preliminary and going forward.
Commissioner, what's the distance between the officers and the suspect, and have you seen the body camera?
I am going to turn it to Chief Harrison. Yes, we have body camera footage, and Rodney can go into it.
You're welcome. Good evening. So we saw two of the body worn camera footage, one from our officers that was struck, one from his partner. It looks like at this time we were close to 10 to 15 feet away from our police officer and our perpetrator.
Anything said by the gunman?
No, we don't have any conversation at the time. Okay, we got time for two more.
Commissioner, the officer that, was saved by the vest, can you talk a little bit more about his condition right now? Is he undergoing surgery, did you say?
No, he's in surprisingly good spirits, thankful to be alive. I think when you take a look at that vest and you see quickly what the alternatives could be, which is very, very thankful tonight. But we're expecting a full recovery. Thank you for the question. Last one? Okay, thank you all.
Oh, yeah.
There you have it, folks. Police officer shot and doing very well. We're in Brooklyn, Queens County Hospital, and as you just heard from the press conference, gang-related activity that was going on, and they know who the perpetrators are. One of them is in custody. A couple people were shot. One person came out unscathed, so there you have it. We're going to be posting our video on our website, and hopefully you guys check it out, www.freedomnews.com. I'm there, Val, reporting from Brooklyn.